Hi, this is Brass Check, and we are recording this on, looking at the calendar, Saturday, January 7th. What I'm about to read you was written 50 years ago. It comes from a book kind of hard to find, but not impossible to find, called The Glass House Tapes by the Citizens Research and Investigation Committee and Louis E. Tackwood. I want to repeat, this book is 50 years old and was published in 1973. Tell me how much of it you recognize in today's life. A National Security Agency computer specialist has proposed attaching miniature electronic tracking devices to 20 million Americans. The transponder would transmit the wearer's location by radio to a computer and could be used for, quote, arrests following riots or confrontations, quote, and, quote, for monitoring aliens and political subgroups, unquote. Let's unpack that. Attaching miniature electronic tracking devices to 20 million Americans. That was proposed by some nut job 50 years ago in the National Security Agency. Guess what? 300 plus million Americans have miniature electronic tracking devices attached to them, and they're called smartphones. And they don't need radio signals because now we've got the internet and Wi-Fi. Okay, such devices, I continue from this book, seem to be the bitter fruit of a rapidly developing field referred to euphemistically by its adherents as behavioral engineering. Its chief apostle, Dr. Robert Schwitzgebel, twin brother of Ralph Schwitzgebel, whoever that is urging government to consider increased use of devices to, quote, control group behavior. Noting that the government already spends much of its budget on prisons, police, judges, etc., quote, social hardware control, Schwitzgebel proposes shifting, quote, just a small portion, unquote, of the defense budget away from the development of weaponry to, quote, devices for measuring and positively reinforcing desirable behaviors of large groups. The government could easily accomplish this because, he added, 80% of the manufacturing in the United States is controlled by about 2,000 of the largest corporations. All right, remember, this was written 50 years ago in 1973. Let's unpack this. These devices would be used to control group behavior. Ever heard of Facebook, Twitter? Ever heard of the federal government and all its, I'm trying to think of a polite word, agencies infiltrating Twitter and Facebook, and I know Google, to control group behavior and groupthink? Yes, indeed, that's what's happened. And really interesting, he says, if we just shifted a small portion of the defense budget away from the development of weaponry. Who funded this revolution in mass surveillance of human beings? Could it have been DARPA? Could that be the Defense Department? So 50 years ago, 1973, they laid it all out. Then Barton L. Ingram of Berkeley's School of Criminology suggests that further control could be achieved through recent developments in electrophysiology. Not only might, quote, complete and continuous surveillance of a person that has demonstrated criminal tendencies be possible, but automatic deterrence or blocking of the criminal activity by electronic stimulation of the brain prior to the commission of the act is also feasible. Electrical impulses injected into the brain can induce, modify, or inhibit such phenomena as movement, desire, rage, aggression, fear, pain, or pleasure. And let's remember, again, this book was written 50 years ago, and let's unpack this paragraph. He's talking about complete and continuous surveillance of people who have demonstrated criminal tendencies. And he's saying it might be possible someday. Well, they are performing complete and continuous surveillance, or they have the means to. Nobody has to worry about being individually surveilled unless you are actually effective in fighting them, at which point they'll either destroy your reputation, bankrupt you, bury you in IRS audits, or just murder you. But you have to be effective. They don't go after thought crimes. That's only for England and Australia. So the idea of the dream they had of complete and continuous surveillance of people with criminal tendencies, well, they've shot way by that. They have the ability to completely and continuously surveil any person they choose. And then we have, so that's, remember, 1973, 50-year-old book. Then we have at the Yale School of Medicine, that distinguished hellhole, Dr. Jose Delgado has implanted radio transmitters in the heads of experimental animal subjects so that he can monitor and control their activities from a distant location. Computers have already been tested on subjects in mental hospitals. Now, I don't know what the author means by computers. Gosh, hold on one second. No, that's indeed what whoever wrote this wrote that. He said computers have already been tested on subjects in mental hospitals. Now think about this. 1973. There were no PCs in 1973 as far as I recall. Or if they did exist, they were really, really rare. So what kind of computers are they talking about? They're talking about like mainframes or something. Or maybe DEC computers, but expensive computers. So they had expensive computers 50 years ago to work on this. The author puts the word mental hospital, he puts the word hospital in quotes. He doesn't indicate what he means by putting it in quotes, but obviously these were not hospitals. God knows what they were. The machines were programmed for undesirable behavior are programmed for undesirable behavior and send out inhibitory instructions. Now, what kind of instructions is he talking about? Don't know. He's a little vague. But let's unpack this. And I know I'm a broken record here. This book is 50 years old. It was published in 1973. And here we've got the Yale School of Medicine, which had a lot of people, pigs at the trough, during COVID, helping destroy society, helping destroy people's lives, contributed to medical murder. Well, here they were 50 years ago trying to figure out how they could put implants into people's brains so that they can control them. That's Yale University. And the last paragraph I'm going to read, in Physical Control of the Mind, Delgado, whose work is also funded in part by the government, predicted that ESB, and I don't know what the heck ESB is, could become a, quote, master control of human behavior by means of man-made plans and instruments. Now that's pretty vague. That's pretty vague. But they didn't have the technology to do this stuff. Now, below here, I'm going to have the latest version of this by Elon Musk, who is a best buddy of the World Economic Forum people. And the World Economic Forum people are really, really into this idea of brain implants. And they're not exactly disclosing what they expect the brain implants to do. But I guarantee it's not in your best interest. So anyway, this book is kind of hard to find. It's called The Glass House Tapes, the story of an agent provocateur and the new police intelligence complex. It was a joint project of the Citizens Research and Investigation Committee and a former undercover operative for the LA Police Department who became disgusted with what he was doing, Louis Tackward. If you can find it, it's a paperback. It came out in 1973 by Avon Books. Okay, I've got a haircut and I'm slowly getting back to normal energy after this super long trip. Hey, somebody that works with me sent me this video. Strangely, he doesn't know where it came from or who made it. I don't know how. I guess it was forwarded to him. Somebody forwarded it to him, that person, and it's just a long chain. And we don't know the author, but I would love to thank the author. And if anybody knows who made this, we want to give them all credit because it's a brilliant piece of analysis. Elon Musk, are we going to buy his it's a everything's a psyop, huh? Everything's a psyop. So this video will bring some clarity about Elon Musk. And also, we have done a lot of reporting on one of his pet interests, which is the implantation of electronic circuitry into human beings' brains, so as to, I don't know what he has in mind. They all have great cover stories. Anyway, we've been covering that larger topic for a long time, and we'll put some of our research videos below. But meanwhile, here is a clear vision of everything that Elon Musk is up to, and it's not all good.
Nobody will be safe if not everybody is vaccinated.
Are you vaccinated, if I
Yes.
may ask?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very pro-vaccination.
Yeah.
The science is unequivocal.
Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants, just think of sensors planted into our brains.
Basically implanted in your skull. So, but it would be flush with your skull. So you basically take out a chunk of skull, put the Neuralink device in there. You put the electrode, you'd insert the electrode threads very carefully into the brain.
It doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you if you take a genetic editing.
It's a fusion of the physical, the digital, and the biological world. That's really the essence of the fourth industrial revolution.
A merger with biological intelligence and machine intelligence.
An effort for man to merge with machine in a healthy way.
Yes.
To beat machines, you basically have to merge with machines.
Most likely, yes.
As work is changing, is a universal basic income really a solution to this problem?
I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. And I think some kind of a universal basic income is going to be necessary.
Decarbonization of the economy.
Where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
I mean, my top recommendation, honestly, would be just to have a carbon tax.
This global reset is necessary.
Brass Check TV, free to you, not free to us. We've got a server bill, we've got an email software bill, we've got a tech helper bill, and that happens every month. So to everybody that is supporting us financially, that's paying for their subscription in one way or another, we really appreciate it. If you're not, consider doing so. Everybody's got money for the newspaper and the cable bill and all that. Do you have money for media that's actually serving you? That's really the issue here. And when you help us, it allows us to get this information out to the world. So thanks to all our supporters, and if you're not a supporter already, please consider becoming one.